a lot of golfers, I wouldn't even say most, the concept of turn is kind of like you're on a level plane, rotating around. It's more like a half pipe. I'm just not seeing the transference of being in better shape to more club head speed.
It was on both sides, the backswing and the downswing. This whole leg, knee, everything was turning with the pelvis. His idea of turning was to do this, and he would get about right here. Once he gets his left hip to the wall, it stays there so the trail hip can come around and you get this. Imagine the difference between me trying to hit it going like that. If I went.
We just gave a lesson to a golfer. He came in, he's gotten his body in shape, physio, doing a great job with that. He goes, I'm just not seeing the transference of being in better shape to more club head speed. So put him in gears, got him warmed up, and right off the bat, you could see why. Let's talk about what he was doing compared to what we got him doing by the end of the lesson.
Yeah, actually, it was on both sides, the backswing and the downswing. Correct. The backswing we cleaned up fairly quickly.
He took to that like fish to water.
But it was a very similar issue in how he thought he was supposed to be turning his body. So what we saw on the backswing as he started making his motion, this whole leg, knee, everything was turning with the pelvis. So it was like a one-to-one relationship from his belt and his knee. That would probably kind of explain it, right? Instead of internally rotating into this trail hip. So that was probably number one.
Yeah, his concept for turning was kind of level pelvis. And when you do that, you kind of get this look, and he had a lot of squatting and twisting in his backswing and downswing.
Yeah, so as he did that, very late getting this right leg to kind of participate and come into the shot here like we like to see. But the real kiss of death, that we cleaned that up fairly quickly. He took to that within the first few swings. Yeah. He just was a different understanding of what he needed to do. The major issue was as he came into the ball.
Do that again. I'll kind of give a reference here.
So I say, okay, just go ahead and make a pass at it. And his idea of turning was to do this. And he would get about right here. And then knowing what it's supposed to look like, because everyone wants their swing to look good, right?
Yeah, he's a scratch golfer, good player.
Yeah, he would, I call it fake the finish.
Right.
So he knew where he was supposed to get to, but he had a little hitch in his giddy up here halfway into the follow through that he knew it was there. He had played with it, played pretty well with it, but he was giving up. For a strong guy to only swing 100 miles an hour with the driver, he was giving up. He felt at least 5 miles an hour, and we agreed with him.
Yeah, again, the concept of kind of turning the pelvis level on the downswing got his knee shifting out beyond his ankle. And then by the time he had hit the ball, his left hip would have to back up.
That's the key.
So it would back up, and then, because he's a good player, he plays with good players, he knows what a finish looks like. He would kind of fake it, and it was completely off his radar.
Yeah, so we talk about this a lot, and I think unless you really know to look for it, it's hard to notice. You don't want to be backing up the hips through the hit. So get to the wall. We wanted him to get to the wall here without crashing his knee through, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then once he gets his left hip to the wall, it stays there so the trail hip can come around, and you get this motion of the hips where they're coming upward as the left leg straightens. So you're into this hip instead of having this kink, we would call it.
That's the perfect explanation for it, or description of it. And we have said this, Shaun actually says it in the lesson, that when the concept of turn, right, we all interpret things differently. A lot of golfers, I wouldn't even say most, the concept of turn is kind of like you're on a level plane, rotating around. It's more like a half pipe.
Yeah.
So explain what the big change in concepts was for
let me grab I'm going to grab something real quick. I think this will make it easier. I've got this impact bag, and if this is your hips, right? Okay. Everybody,
it's about life size for me.
Kind of imagines that when you think turn, that you turn this thing around like a top.
Right.
And if you do that, you can start getting some of these leg movements, right? Especially if you're not aware of kind of the internal, external. What I usually have people think about is like, okay, if this is me standing up tall, if I bend forward to my address, well, now I have an angle to this impact bag. Think about it like a tire or a wheel. I want to turn an angled pivot. So if I do that as I go forward, that changes the whole attitude of my legs and lower body. And like Mike said, it feels like I'm going up a half pipe instead of spinning the skateboard around like a top.
He was light on lateral motion because he was spinning level, and he wasn't getting open for all of his effort. That was the thing. And, you know, by changing his concept of that half pipe move, he was getting more open and getting the pelvis where it needed to be at impact.
It got the tilts to go along with it. And part of the reason the before swing where he didn't have enough rotation, when this, you know, back to the backswing here, that's why it's so important that instead of just working on impact, you got to get the backswing pieces right. And the lower body motion on the backswing, if you can get that working the right way, it makes it a lot easier to make your downswing the way you want it. So because he spun this knee out and he had no internal rotation here, when he started down, this leg was very late to the party.
Well, it would actually bend that direction away from the target, which again, the opposite of what good players do.
So film your swing. When you start down and you have any look where your lower leg here, the shin, in this femur or in this kind of direction, that's a problem, because when you start down and pivot, this leg can't move correctly, so it stalls the right side of your trail side of your pelvis, and you can't get open no matter how hard you try.
So again, he was in much better shape than when we saw him a few years ago.
Yeah.
Physio's done a great job with him, but he was only 20 degrees separation, 21, not quite 21 degrees separation between his upper and lower and the backswing, because he was turning this way. So when you turn the pelvis level, you have to get all your side bend from the upper body. So that was wrecking his downswing sequence. Now that he started to turn on kind of that angle, he was able to get this open. So he created a much bigger stretch and was able to maintain that stretch much deeper into the downswing. So we got more rotation, more separation from the rotation, and faster clubhead speed down through the ball because of how he was able to kind of snap the whip.
Well, so yeah, I'll use the impact bag again and just turn the club upside down here just for effect because it's light. But imagine the difference between me trying to hit it going like that, which is basically what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
He was strong enough to get the club going, at least to, you know, be a good golfer. But if you feel like you're working hard and only getting 70% of what you should be able to do, it feels a lot better if you can start using the body in a way where this speeds up a lot more efficiently. So instead of this, if I got this leg where it needs to be and straighten it, I'm cracking more of a whip now, and you see it with every good player. They all do. It's amazing how, you know, there's a million ways to swing the club. Not really, right?
No, not really.
If you want it to go fast and hit the ball straight, there's not really a million ways to do it, especially down here where it counts. And by having him feel that and straighten this whole lead side out, change his entire concept. This alone, understanding how that works and bracing this left side will help everyone watching this video.
Yeah, he the best analogy that I've heard of this years ago, probably close to 20 years ago now, Brian Manzella was describing the sequence of impact, and it's like if you go to the grocery store, get a shopping cart, and we're gonna have a competition so you can push the cart the farthest. One of us would get running and then keep running and just shove the arms forward, and the other one would stop, brace, and then sling it. Which one do you think is going to apply more force? It's the golfer that's sequencing and bracing so the speed can transfer versus the golfer that's just trying to continually kind of keep twisting through everything.
And again, it's the whole issue with just think about turn at all costs or get open at all costs. The long hitters would really accelerate the pelvis, right, and then decelerate it.
Right.
And the brakes to the pelvis is this internal rotation. So you start to run into this hip, which decelerates the lower body. Now everything else can go slinging past. But if there's no brakes, he really looked like he was almost having to muscle it. I know it's a vague term, but it was like...
That was what he said. I've been trying harder and not
Efforting.
seeing the speed show up. So if that sounds like you, and I know it's going to be a lot of you, efforting, like there's no physical reason why you shouldn't be hitting it farther than you are.
Yeah.
And you're efforting a lot, and almost the more effort you give it, the same the speed is, or even some of them you're going to lose speed efforting more. It's a sequencing issue. Look at the lower body first. See where that pelvis is relative to your legs. Like at impact, get your knee over your ankle and your hip right on top of those, kind of right in line like this, and keep it up there so your trail side can get through. If you don't see that, that's the first place to look.